Choose life and live. Buy original. Be original. SON.
We will continue to provide you with the necessary support to grow your businesses, but will not tolerate any act of compromise on quality. Director General of the Standards Organization of Nigeria, Osita Bolma Esquire, assures steel manufacturers. SON harmonizes standards, deepens collaboration with relevant stakeholders ahead of the takeoff of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, plus concluding story on consumer rights and obligation. Is the Standards Organization of Nigeria living up to expectation when it comes to helping consumers get value for their money whenever they are shortchanged? It's Standard and You, and another opportunity to learn more about product safety and quality on television, courtesy of Nigeria's most responsive government agency, the Standards Organization of Nigeria, the SON. As always, please accept the warm regards of the Director General, management, and hardworking staff of the SON as I welcome you to this week's edition of Africa's authoritative quality program, Standard and You. My name is Ifoma Okonkwo. Please stay tuned.
The Governing Council, management and staff of the Standards Organization of Nigeria congratulate Nigerians on our 59th independence anniversary. We call on all patriots and friends of our great country to join the quality vanguard to ensure continued improvement of lives through standards and quality assurance. God bless Nigeria. Signed, Osita Anthony Aboloma Esquire, Director General, Chief Executive, SON.
The program you're watching is Standard and You. The Director General of the Standards Organization of Nigeria, Osita Bolma Esquire, has advised steel manufacturers in the country to adhere strictly to Nigerian industrial standards. Osita Bolma gave this charge when he met with some members of the Steel Manufacturers Association of Nigeria in Lagos. Standard and You was there. Please take a look.
About 2 weeks ago, the Standards Organization of Nigeria embarked on a special raid that took officials of the agency to various locations across the country. From one warehouse to another, men and women of the SON inspected samples of steel bars to ascertain the quality of this all-important building material. It was observed that some of the companies produced standard steel bars. Most of the products that failed the parameter test conducted by the agency were those imported into the country. In Owerri, for instance, substandard steel bars with a street value of over 500 million naira were impounded by officials of the SON. This meeting with some manufacturers of steel bars and other relevant stakeholders in the industry at the instance of the SON is to convey government's commitment, quality assurance, and strict adherence to Nigerian industrial standards. Director General of the SON, Osita Aboloma, frowned at the development which he described as a threat to the building and construction industry. He advised operators to be quality conscious and avoid unethical practices capable of destroying their businesses.
There were a lot of complaints from consumers, from stakeholders, and even security agencies of the negative effect of the steel materials, the steel items that are in the market. You know, at least, particularly within this rainy season, where you have the incident of building collapse, what readily comes to mind is the quality of steel. And the next question people will ask is, what is SON doing about it? Before we start blaming poor workmanship and lack of building code, let us ask a formidable stakeholder, look within ourselves and put our houses in order and produce something that we can defend both within Nigeria and outside Nigeria. So what we ask you to do is to produce the minimum standards. There's no maximum. If you can afford to sell your product at a higher rate, Go ahead and do that. It's a free market. But once it falls below the minimum, that national standards, it becomes life-threatening. It becomes an endangerment to lives. If it does not worry you people, it gives us, as your regulators, serious cause for concern.
Aboloma stated clearly that the SON will not tolerate any act to undermine the right of consumers to quality goods and therefore will not hesitate to sanction any erring company in line with the provisions of the laws of the land.
Out of 25 products that we've tested so far, 2 of them are mysterious. They cannot be traced. So if there's no traceability, there's no guarantee for quality. About 3 of them, actually, could not be traced. And they are in the market, and they are in major construction sites. We investigate and get to the root of it. Wherever we stop, we will seek the assistance of other sister agencies. We encourage you when you're doing the right thing as regulators, and we'll make you appreciate the gravity of non-conformity.
Some operators praised efforts by the SON to ensure strict monitoring of the industry, adding that they will work with the SON to ensure compliance with the relevant standards, especially as it affects imported steel bars.
We have listened to the DG, and we actually appreciate this type of meeting, whereby we sit down together and he showed us the storecards and the areas that we have to improve. And I will promise on behalf of my members, that the steel group, that we are going to improve and actually ensure that standard products are there in the market all the time.
Welcome back. And now to our big story. Last month, we brought you a story on consumer rights and obligation. We told you what is expected of a consumer and how the Standards Organization of Nigeria, working with relevant government agencies, recorded tremendous success addressing the various challenges faced by consumers whenever they are shortchanged or denied value for their money. This week, we shall examine the impact of SON's noble initiatives at resolving the various problems arising from such transactions between manufacturers or dealers of goods and consumers. Please take a look.
Every time a consumer purchases a product, his or her expectation is that such product will serve the purpose for which it was purchased. The whole idea is to get value for money spent on such product. The prevalence of substandard and fake products imported into the country over the years has become a major threat to realizing a satisfactory transaction between consumers and dealers. Our investigations show that more often than not, consumers are denied value for their money when they purchase products from the market. It's been observed that in some cases, there are defects in products by manufacturers, while in most cases, it's an outright issue of a product being substandard or fake.
About a week ago or so, my phone's charging port got spoiled, and then the guy repaired it, but literally the night he gave me back the phone, the charging port spoiled again. So I went back to his place to report, to tell him about the faulty repair he did. And the guy was proving that probably I was the one that put a fake charger in or something. And I told him he had to return my money, but it was adamant. So I went to report him to the head of markets, Babaloja. And that one came down with me and told him that he had to either repair my phone for me to an agreeable extent, or he had to refund the money. Obviously, I told him I didn't even want to repair it. I demanded for a refund, which he was forced to give me.
I bought something from the supermarket, and when I got home, I discovered that what I bought has expired. So I went back to the supermarket and I complained, and the owner of the supermarket promised to take the appropriate actions, like complain to the producers and something like that.
There is a duty on the owner of the product or the manufacturers to ensure that the product sold to the client or to the customer meets the quality required. So if the customer finds out that the quality is actually below his expectation, he could actually take steps to enforce his rights.
This development throws up more challenges for regulatory agencies like the Standards Organization of Nigeria, saddled with the responsibility of protecting the consumers.
The product can be rectified. It could be an issue of labeling, it could be an issue of packaging. You can rectify it to bring it up to standard. Where rectification will fail, you can ask for replacement. We've had instances where vendors have been asked to replace products. I know of a particular case here in Lagos. Somebody bought a car, a brand new car, and there were issues with the car. In fact, a lady, she didn't have value for her money. At the end of the day, we had to get the company to replace that vehicle. Where replacement will not be sufficient, you will go to the last R, that is refund of the purchase price. So these are the fundamental areas that I think relate quite appropriately to consumer protection.
Very clear provisions about writing guidelines and regulations with respect to refunds, returns, and repair. And so once these regulations are out and the clarity of the guidance percolates into the market, it will be illegal to unilaterally determine that anything you purchase is not returnable or that there is absolutely no refund. There are exceptions, and those exceptions will be captured in the regulations. But going forward, it would be inappropriate to conclude as a matter of default that goods are not returnable and that refunds are not practicable.
In resolving disputes from such transactions, the SON has developed viable strategies to protect the rights of the consumer. Apart from developing a robust quality infrastructure and effective usage of the various social media platforms, SON, through its radio and television program Standard and You, has continued to create awareness on consumer rights and obligations.
When we get feedback from customers, we send this information to the surveillance team. They go into the market to gather more information, market intelligence information, to know where this problem is coming from. Because it's one thing for us to resolve the consumer angle, that's a correction. Oh, we'll make you happy, we delight our customers. It's different for us to make sure we take corrective action by determining the root cause. Where did things go wrong? Is it that we do not have a standard for this particular product? Is it that our certification, was there a problem during the process of certification? In our sampling, did we sample representative samples that will give us an informed judgment of the performance of that particular brand of product? Okay, is our product registration working? Is it ensuring the traceability we want to achieve? These are questions that we try to answer by using all the mechanisms, going from the customer feedback to the surveillance team, and then finally, the Inspectorate and Compliance Directorate, where enforcement takes place.
While the SON is strategizing and evolving mechanisms to stem the tide of substandard and fake products, it's important for a consumer to not only get acquainted with his or her obligation, but demand his rights whenever the need arises. This has become imperative in view of the increasing need by the SON to rid Nigerian markets of substandard and fake products.
What are the responsibilities you have as a consumer of products?
I'm blank.
I don't know, sorry.
Okay, I think on this platform we have to be educated more on this, but personally, I don't.
You could report to the appropriate authority, like the SON, I guess, the Standard Organization of Nigeria.
Investigations by the SON reveal that most consumers will rather resign to fate than seeking redress. There are other categories of consumers who are not aware of the SON's consumers' feedback and collaboration. Some others are completely ignorant of what government agency to run to whenever they are denied value for goods purchased. The most worrisome of these categories of consumers are those who believe that it's impossible for any government agency to get a replacement, refund, or repair in the event of a defect of purchase of substandard products. However, there are those who are not only aware of this service by the SON, but have been taking advantage of the services of the agency's Consumer Feedback and Collaboration Unit.
About 4 years ago, I bought 2 refrigerators. And then within a space of 4 months, both packed up. They stopped working. Like every other Nigerian, I contacted the seller, who said it was my power that caused the problem. And I said, well, I had other electrical equipment in my home. Those ones were still working. Why the 2 I just procured from their store? He said, okay, then he will send technician to come and check what went wrong. Finally, they did. They came, and then they looked and said, okay, they were going to fix the refrigerators. They took them away, brought them after about 1 week, and still the same problem persisted. I called them again and said, these refrigerators were not working. They said, okay, there was nothing they could do again. And at the end of the day, I kept spending money and nothing was done. So I trashed those 2 refrigerators. They were sold as a scrap. But something interesting happened 2 years ago. I bought brand new washing machine. After about 3 months, it packed up. And then I saw myself in the same boat of the other 2 refrigerators. So I got talking to a wonderful person, and the person said to me, why don't you contact Sun? I said, Sun? As I only know that Sun attends to those that are doing importation, Sun Camp, and every other thing. He said, no, they have their department where these matters are resolved. I said, please, can you give me how to go about it, to get to them? Gave me an email that I should communicate the email, contact them via email, which I did. And most interesting part of it was the response time was wonderful. Within a day, I was contacted, and then they queried me on what happened, which I narrated to them. They said I should now write up a petition and attach the copies of receipt, which I did. And then within 24 hours, the company called me and said they were coming to fix or replace that particular product. I thought it was a joke. And as God will have it, they came and they replaced that washing machine.
I bought a refrigerator from a known company. Within 3 months, it just packed up. So I called them, stopped cooling. The lady in customer affairs told me they were sending somebody. That unfortunately everybody had gone out as at the time I was calling, but the next day I should expect somebody. No problem. The next day I didn't see them. I called them on a Wednesday. The Thursday I didn't see them. Friday I didn't see them. Friday afternoon I called. She said, yes, I told you everybody had gone out. Told me the same story again. Just like people always say, sometimes you feel government parasitals, they won't do anything, especially when this company is fairly big, That's, you're just going to waste your time. But that was not what happened. I decided to get Google them. I got their number. I sent an email to them, and I got a response. That was fantastic. In fact, before an email was sent to me, a phone call, because I put my phone number and everything, came across, and we now pick it up. I told them what happened, and they now said, okay, we'll call the seller, and we'll call you. I hope you won't mind to come for a meeting. I said, if it's going to be to my advantage, why not? So I went for the meeting. The seller, their representative came. My experience with SON is fantastic, because I never, in my wildest imagination, thought just one meeting will solve my problem.
Every complaint is expected to be addressed to the DG, and when it's received at the state office, those involved in the complaint are called to state their cases. Then further technical evaluation of the complaint is done, and if it is discovered that there is merit in the complaint, that means that there was actually technical issues that has to do with that product or service that was purchased, then the complaint is addressed. And in trying to address the complaint, because we are using alternative dispute resolutions in addressing those complaints, we try to ensure that at the end of the resolutions, both parties do not become enemies at the end of the resolutions.
For the Director General of the SON, Osita Aboloma, the war against substandard products is a must-win and requires the support of Nigerians. Aboloma disclosed that a lot is being done by the agency to develop capacity and competence in dispute resolution in the overall interest of consumers, dealers, and manufacturers of goods. He called on Nigerians to join the quality vanguard and insist on only the best, because, in his words, only the best is good for Nigerian consumer. For those importing substandard products into Nigeria, Aboloma warned them to desist from the selfish, unpatriotic, and illegal business, adding that stiffer sanctions await offenders.
Hello and nice to have you on the feedback segment of the program. I am Halimot Osifo. What do you do when you're dissatisfied with a product? Do you keep it to yourself or tell others about it? Do you keep buying or stop patronizing? Do you express happiness or disappointment? Consumer satisfaction is the fulfillment consumers derive from a product. In other words, it's how happy consumers are with a purchase. And this is based on whether their need is met effortlessly in a convenient way that makes them loyal to the products. It's true that businesses need money to survive. To make profits, businesses need customers. Ideally, when these customers are happy, they tell their friends about the products and keep coming back. Only businesses with focus on consumer satisfaction will thrive. So you see, consumer satisfaction is key to the survival of a business. If you want to succeed in your business, you must make consumer satisfaction a priority by complying with the available product standards, which guarantees product quality and safety. Standards Organization of Nigeria recognizes that the consumer is king. Hence, its mission to promote consumer confidence and global competitiveness of Nigerian products through standardization and quality assurance. We will not only protect Nigerians from fake and substandard products, but also help consumers get value for their money. Abubakar Mohammed from Maiduguri says, what is the importance of Standards Organization of Nigeria? Wow. Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, is Nigeria's highest standardization body, vested with the responsibility of regulating the quality of products made in Nigeria and imported into the country. For more, you can check our official website at www.son.gov.ng. Tokbe Odusowo from Oyo State says, how do we know the manufacturing and expiry date of a gas cylinder? Usually the manufacturing date of a cylinder is inscribed on the cylinder. When you check, you add 15 years to the figures you have. That's where you get your expiry date. Anonymous Messenger says, I love what SON is doing, but I want the agency to extend its activities to local industries in villages. Definitely. Thank you so much for your contribution. We will ensure that we go to the local and remote areas and also check the products that have been produced there. Chris from Lagos says, I am really happy that SON is really trying their best to eradicate all these fake imported products. It's our responsibility to protect Nigerians from fake and substandard products, and we will stop at nothing in doing that. Aliu Dazo says, when one wants to start producing a product, how will he or she register with the Standards Organization of Nigeria? All right, we have an online registration portal on our website, www.son.gov.ng. Just check and you know what to do, or you go to any of SON's offices near you. And that's a wrap on the feedback segment of the program. Keep your messages coming in with your full name and location to the number 07059724455. Follow us on Facebook at Standard and You, Instagram and Twitter at Standard and You _. Remember, you can watch previous episodes online at youtube.com/Standard and You. Don't just view, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks and enjoy the rest of the week.
Why you dey buy fake product, make you dey careful, no go damage your life. You've got one life to live.